we've got somebody from the Marine Corps. She was in the, she'll tell you what she did and everything else, but she works for the Congressman, Brad Sherman, and I told her if she runs for Congresswoman, we'll get her all the votes. We'll all vote for her. So you never know. So I'm going to bring up here, her name is Megan Morse, and she will tell you what she did in the Marine Corps. So this is for the Marines too. Here, just talk into that.
Sure thing. Good morning. Everybody can hear me? Reveille? My name is Megan Morse, and first I just want to say thank you for letting me come here today. It's quite an honor to be in a room such of amazing American heroes to me, being the younger generation, as everybody keeps reminding me that I am. I served 8 years in the United States Marine Corps. I was part of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. I was a CH46 Echo crew chief. I flew in the side of the 46, and I was the aircraft mechanic as well as the eyes and ears for the pilots, and the aerial observer and aerial gunner for the gunship. I currently work for Congressman Brad Sherman. It's a little different what I do compared to everybody else. I'm not exactly, I work and I represent him, but I'm not exactly hired by him. I'm hired through the Wounded Warrior Program, through the Chief Administrative Office, so my paycheck comes from the Speaker of the House from a different political party altogether. So I do not deal with the politics of the office versus Democrat versus Republican. I deal with the part of the Constitution that I fought for the people, by the people, and that is taking care of veterans and service members today. That is my main job within this office. I am the person that you come to if you have an issue with your DD-214, your missing medals, your compensation, your pension, any questions that you have about your military service, questions about your dependents and what they would rate, any federal issues you have with Social Security, immigration, IRS, anything that you have a question about, I would be the representative within the office that you would come and see. Yes, sir? I cover the 27th district only, but I do know of other individuals in Waxman, Berman, and McKeon's office that are counterparts to me in a sense. They're not in the same program. There's only 35 of us wounded warriors in the United States altogether, and there's 5 of us here in California right now. The next closest wounded warrior is another fellow Marine, good friend of mine named J.D. Kennedy, who works up in Congressman McKeon's district. But that's not to say that Berman and Waxman do not have representatives within their office that cannot assist you as well. But I do cover strictly the 27th district. But regardless, my policy, and as I've said this many times before, if you are a veteran and you come to me, that doesn't mean I'm going to turn you away because of lines. I went to war. I didn't fight for the 27th district. I fought for the continental United States. So you come to me, and I will assist you in the best manner that I can. If that means I have to direct you to another office, I will, but I'm going to ensure that you're taken care of, regardless. I am a third-generation combat veteran in my family. I have 2 sets of grandparents that all served in World War II. My father did 20 years in the United States Navy and served in the first Gulf War. And, of course, myself, I'm the 5th Marine, but the first and only female Marine in the family. And I have a 2-year-old, and I'm hoping she just goes straight to Harvard or Yale. That's my goal. I just finished my bachelor's in international relations, and I'm working on my master's right now in intelligence operations through American Military University. And I'm also part of the Honor Society for Sigma Iota Rho for international relations, and I'm an ambassador for my school. So I'm heading to DC in 2 weeks, which I'm very, very excited about, to walk across the stage and get my college bachelorette degree. And when I'm not busy being a single mom and working, I enjoy, just hanging out with fellow veterans and getting to know people within the community. So if you have any questions, there's pamphlets being passed around. These are called constituent assistance pamphlets. There's some information in there regarding what Congressman Sherman and our office does. I have some flyers from the recent town hall that we did. There are 2 constituents of mine that are in there. The congressman comes to each of us caseworkers and he asks us for feel-good stories. And I didn't, this is the first time I've only been in the office since October, and I said, okay, well, let me see what I have. And I pulled up 10 stories, and everybody else got mad at me because they're like, no, you're only supposed to do 2, you're making us look bad. And I said, well, here's 10, sir. And out of everybody in the office, he picked 2 of mine, which happened to be 2 veterans. So I was quite honored by that. And I was also able to honor 2 veterans at the town hall, World War II Marine. He had received a Purple Heart but never accepted it. He turned it down because he felt at the time he didn't rate it. And now later on in life, he wanted that medal because he had actually earned it. And it was something that meant a lot to him, and I was able to do that, put on my uniform and pin that on him. And then, of course, I had a Navy corpsman who came in and was missing medals, and we helped him out. And he quite an honorable corpsman. He did some amazing tours between Marshall Islands and Tinian, and lasted 35 minutes on Iwo Jima. So it was quite an honor to meet him as well. And once again, it's an honor for me to be here in your presence. I thank you so much. I'm going to be here for a little while, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please come see me, and I will do my best to help you out. Thank you.
Megan, while you're up here, there's a couple of things I think you can help us on. According to the information I have, the French are giving a medal to those involved on D-Day forward. And I've been in contact with the French. Unfortunately, I don't speak French, so I'm having a problem. I don't even speak English, but that's beside the point. If you could do something, that's one medal, I think you can help me on. I'll talk to you afterwards about it. The second, there is an Air Force Defense Medal for the Air Force that was started just about 9 years ago. It's a different medal. I would like to know if any of us deserve that medal. So you can pursue those. Any other questions anybody has for Megan? Oh, yes.
Being interrogated.
I'm curious if you can do anything with honor flight, because I'd like to get these guys to Washington, D.C.
What is the question?
Yeah.
Honor flight. I also have been working on the honor flight thing. I don't know if I told you, last year I went on what they call Operation Greatest for the veterans. They took us to Washington for 3 days. The honor flight is the same thing. They will take some veterans and tour Washington, D.C. with the memorials. It's a great deal. I did get a hold of them about a year ago, and they told me they were filled up at that time. But I think you wrote a letter about that. Yes, and I followed it up. Maybe. Right. Absolutely.
Well, ironically, when I first filled this position in October, I went to D.C. for some training. And on my flight, I was waiting to get on my aircraft, and I couldn't understand what the holdup was. And all of a sudden, I look out, and I see them shooting water over the aircraft. And I'm like, oh, wait, I know what that means. And all of a sudden, everybody lined up, and I stood up front because I had my little congressional ID, and I was like, here I am. And I stood there, and I saluted every single World War II veteran that came off that aircraft. It was awesome. And I got some good contacts, and that is something I can definitely arrange. We can get something going if you go to D.C., and get you a Behind the Ropes Capitol tour, the cool tour, to see all the fun stuff. But that is definitely something I can look into if you guys really want to go. And that it's an awesome program. I didn't know anything about it until that moment occurred, and I mean, it was amazing the amount of support that was there for them. I mean, people were just like, people get in the airport, they're cranky, where's my flight? Then they realize who's coming off that aircraft, and let me tell you, people turned around, because if they didn't, I was going to hurt somebody. But yes, we can definitely look into that.
You were born in Naples, Italy?
Yes, I was.
Was it Air Force or Army?
My dad was a Navy CB. He worked for Admiral Crow. There's a picture of me on the Admiral's lap. He was dressed as Santa. And then there's another picture of me asleep at the Navy Marine Corps ball on a pillow. That's what started it all. No, I was born in Pasquale, Naples, Italy. And I lived there for several years and came to the States and, of course, hopscotched around between naval installations.
Thank you. You're on Van Nuys Boulevard.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Yeah.
I have another question over here.
Oh, okay. Leo?
I think I told Brad Sherman this, but, you know, there is a bill in Congress, the merchant marine.
Yes.
Now, during World War II, I was a Navy officer. And Coast Guard officer, everything else. Now, they're supposed to get, they have a bill up there, $1,000 a month, I think, just gotta be finished. They're giving to the merchant marine. Now, you know, the merchant marine, the rate of casualties percentage-wise is the greatest. On the Atlantic, they got slaughtered. Out in the Pacific, if they didn't get an aircraft carrier, they came after the cargo. That's what I was told. I didn't know that when I went out there. But anyway, now they gave the Filipinos money and everything else. They gave Congress gave themselves a raise and everything else. But that bill is still there. They wait another 2 or 3 years. They won't have to pay it. They won't be allowed.
Regarding pension for merchant marines has been approved. If you were serving actively during the consecutive dates of World War II. So that was passed.
Yeah.
Let me get the information. I'll get you the write-up on it. And if you want to send in a new request regarding your pension for that, I can definitely do that for you. Now the difference, let me explain something. The difference between what I do and what you would be able to do is coming from a congressional level. It's kind of like lighting the fire underneath somebody's rear end. They don't like that. They don't like the Department of Defense doesn't like that. The VA doesn't like that. But I have really good correlations with these individuals. And when you have questions like that, I'm able to pick up a direct line to a congressional member from that arena and say, what's going on? I need a direct answer. Because when I'm calling on behalf of the congressman. And you don't want the congressman to make that call, because he will. He's very, very happy to make a call on behalf of the veterans. So, and that's the thing, is that I'm able to expedite things, whereas being a veteran, unfortunately, which I think is completely BS in other words, that you cannot get done on your own. This is something that you rate, something that you deserve, something that you've earned. You should be able to fill out a document and have a nice, smooth process regarding VA, regarding pension, anything. But unfortunately, there's a lot of bumps in the road. And that's where you come to me, and that's where I'm kind of turn the ball around and go, what is going on? Why are these guys not getting what they rate, what they earn, and what they deserve? And that's when I start lighting the fire and people start doing their jobs more productively somehow. So that is the difference between what I do and myself as a regular veteran. Now, nobody is oblivious to this process. I am a 50% disabled combat veteran. I survived 2 helicopter crashes and an anti-personnel mine in a Humvee attack. Now, I obviously don't have visible scars for most people. They look at me and they think I can walk and talk. I'm very, very lucky. I went through years of physical therapy. I was told I would never have children and I would walk but probably never run fully, because I actually ended up breaking my back. I run now after a 2-year-old, so what does that tell you? But I have to fight the VA within my own right as being a veteran. So I understand the difficulties that you guys have to go through with compensation, pension, the questions you have, because I get treated the same way when I call as a veteran versus calling as a congressional staffer. So I'm right there with you, and I understand. But the deal is that my job is to make sure that everything is expedited and you're treated in the manner that you should be. And if you're not, you come and tell me. Trust me, something will be done. Okay? And I will get you that information. I'll get you the write-up on it. I have it on my desktop, actually, so I'll print that up for you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, a couple of things before I let you go. VA property. Now, there are a lot of private individuals and companies are trying to get a hold of VA property. Steve Palmer, a member of ours, was involved with that. Unfortunately, he passed away. Now, the Sepulveda property and the Plummer Avenue property are being attacked by private individuals. What is the congressman doing about that?
About a week ago, I got in a little bit of trouble because I went over there and asked those questions directly. I walked around and I said, I want to see who's in charge. They couldn't give me a direct answer. Then I revealed who I was, and people kind of was like, huh? And yes, the congressman actually flew in and this last Friday, and I'm going to be discussing this with him. This has been an issue that we've had. The congressman's not exactly pleased with what's going on. With the fact of this company coming in, there's lots of questions arising. There's little things occurring. I noticed that they're going to start charging for the golf course. I know that they lease off for the Little League area. And I explained to them, I go, I understand that you guys want to make a profit, but in the end, this is government property. These are veterans. They rate this property. These civilians don't, in a sense. They haven't earned their way in here. We need this property for physical therapy. They need the gym to be equipped properly. They need to have use of the facility at all times. They shouldn't have to go running around getting a doctor's note saying, I rate to be here. That's uncalled for. So the thing is that I'm breaking this down and I'm explaining this to the congressman to see what his understanding is on the matter. I've yet to, because he literally just flew in, had a chance to sit down and talk with him. I know he's not happy with the situation. He's not happy with the fact that the VA was supposed to be reporting to us what was going on and explaining to us the issues and giving us a breakdown so we could properly inform you all. That hasn't occurred until Friday, when somebody very high up in the VA called my office to complain about me snooping around. I'm a veteran. That was my first words to my district director. I'm a veteran. I have every right to walk anywhere on that property that I want to be. Secondly, I'm a congressional staffer, and if I want to ask a question, I can ask it in any manner that I want. I want an answer because I represent you guys, and I want to make sure that when you ask me a question, I can give you that direct answer back, and right now I can't, and that's not right. And so that's something that I'm working to fix on with the congressman. I want to know what his direct stance is. I want to know what he's going to end up doing in regards to this issue, because it's becoming a major issue.
Megan, I'll say this. If you want me to be at a meeting with the congressman, even though I have plenty of time, I don't do much, I would be willing to meet with the congressman on a Sherman to Sherman basis. Okay. The second thing, you gave us some combs to give out. Those of us with hair. Would you mind, Steve, passing? I will say this. Whatever you can do for the veterans, I'm behind you 110% because it aggravates me. I talked to Steve Palmer, and I'll tell you just one story that Steve tells. They were picketing on Sepulveda and Wilshire Boulevard. And they wanted some water. It was a hot day. The police at the VA would not allow them to go in to have water or bathroom. This is veterans, so I want to bring that up also.
I was there.
Yeah, Georgie was there.
Wouldn't even let us go and use the restroom.
Right.
They had police cars in front of the door. You couldn't get in.
When did this occur?
That was about a year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah. So,
They wouldn't let him in either.
right. Yeah. They wouldn't let. So there's a lot going on that I would like to bring to the congressman. Sure.
Does anybody here use the MRI machine at the Sepulveda VA? Or have used it? Recently? I'm hearing 6 months ago. Yes, you have used it recently? Okay. Good. I'm just curious to know because the congressman put in a lot of money into that MRI machine, and I went over there and took photos, and that thing was locked up tighter than Fort Knox. And then they sat there and told me, oh, yeah, we use it daily. Really? Why can't I walk over there? It's all fenced off.
They took it from Sepulveda and then took it to West LA.
Yeah, I know that they took one to West LA, but there should be one still at Sepulveda, and it should still be in full use. It should be a brand new MRI machine. It's in use?
They got an MRI outside.
CAT scans in West LA, okay.
Just outside the building on the east side.
Yeah, it's in like the motorhome looking facility that's completely locked up when I went out there. And every time I ask for somebody to come over and show me the way, oh, you have to talk to West LA.
Well, I got an MRI over there about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
It was open.
So it was open, so there was a tech working in there? Okay. I just found it kind of funny to be inoperable when I showed up, unannounced. So, okay. Yes.
And two head guys got indicted and he disappeared. His name was Thomas was one, and I forgot the other guy's name. I can't think right offhand. And they got went to another hospital. And nobody knows where that money went.
See, a lot of things are being brought to light. Keep in mind, I've only been here since October. So I'm learning everything that's been going on, and that's why I literally went on my lunch break on a Friday and walked over there, because nobody was answering the phone. And when I walk in there and I go, who's in charge? And they go, I don't know. Really? Who's running the ship? Anybody back here behind the wheel? And I get a blank stare. And then I get a, well, you have to talk to West LA. I shouldn't have to contact another hospital when I'm in one. Doesn't make any sense.
Don't start working until after 1 o'clock for all that West LA.
Nice. Okay, that's something else I'll note. I was with, I did a congressional meeting with the new director, regional office director, Dennis Cueva, and I can give you some hope here. This man did 20 years with the VA, retired, came back because of what he saw going on with the younger veterans, and he's been a director in Hawaii and in Chicago, I believe, and now he's out here. And he just started in February. He is revamping like crazy with the system. And I stood there and played devil's advocate in a room full of 30 other congressional staffers. And they sat there and they said, well, we have yet to see an actual evidence of a case with a veteran and compensation and disability and pension claim come through. We hear about it, but we don't see it. I said, really? You want to see it? Here's my file number. All 3 volumes. I get a phone call from the assistant director. He goes, I can't believe this. I'm like, neither can I. I've been fighting this for 5.5 years. Are you kidding me? And I got time on my side. I said, this is different compared to some other guys out there, World War II, Korea. You know, you guys need answers now. This is something you've rated for a long time. And they're like, wow, we had no idea it was this bad. I'm like, they lost my file 3 times and changed my death benefits. I said, change my death benefits? Is there something the VA knows that I don't? There's a letter in there from Senator Patty Murray, who's one of the heads of the VA committee in D.C., and it says, please do not lose this file again. That's pretty sad. Accountability is a big thing with me, and integrity is the second thing. And if you're going to be managing my file, my medical file, and me, I'm putting my life in your hands. And I think about that with every veteran. And I said, you guys have to have accountability of your actions. You know, we shouldn't have to sit here and do all the grunt work for you. We've already done our time. You know, you're supposed to be there to help us. And that's the way the system should be. So there's a lot of revamping and a lot of training going on right now. Some things might be a little bit slower, and I apologize for that, but that's because I kind of kicked up some dust over there. And that's just the way it should be, though. Somebody's got to bring to light these issues, because people just aren't understanding. They want to see hard evidence, and I said, that's fine, here you go. And I'm playing hardball if that's what it takes. I got nothing to lose. I'm still a veteran in the end.
Yes. They send you outside. They don't do any C&Ps at the VA. It's a
QTC.
full yeah.
Yes, lowest
I'm
bidder to the
telling
government.
you, they're not right people.
I know. I've been there. I walked into an office, and the guy was supposed to examine my back. I sat there, and the floor was dirty. He looked at me. He goes, okay, and left. Wrote a 2-page report telling me what my flexation was. I'm like, I didn't even bend over. Are you kidding me? I wrote a full letter going all the way up to the Senate. I said, this guy needs to get fired, and so does anybody else who's touched my file in the last 6 months. Done. That's the thing. QTC is a huge issue, and they're changing that. They're working on changing that. Unfortunately, because it's a lower bid, you know how the government works. Cheapest dime, cheapest bidder, we're going to take it. We've got to save money, right? Unfortunately, that doesn't always guarantee quality of care. I hear a lot of civilians go, God, I wish I was a veteran because I get free health care. I'd rather pay for it and get quality versus what I get now, which is nothing but stress and complaints and dealing with hardship with just trying to go in to get some cold medicine. I could have gone to Rite Aid, paid out of pocket. Life would have been good. But that is a huge issue. QTC is a very, very big issue, and it has been brought up. They're reevaluating the doctors. They're retraining the doctors. They're retraining the VA doctors to be able to do the write-ups for your compensation. So if you were seen by a VA doctor and you want to claim something and they tell you to claim it, that doctor needs to know how to work that write-up because the VA will deny it from their own doctors. They did it to me. I'm like, are you serious? You
Took me 51 years to get my 100% disability.
see, and that's completely unacceptable. That's completely unacceptable.
Megan, I have an idea. What we should do is simply switch things around. Let the congressmen and the senators go to the VA, and the VA go to Dr. Reed.
Hey, I'm right there. I'll go back to branch medical. Give me a Fleet Corpsman any day. It's a Motrin, and we're all good. And I understand. That's what I'm saying. As a veteran, I understand. I have a lot of compassion for what you're going through and what you're having to deal with. So when you call my office, I get a lot of guys who call, and they hear my voice, and they're like, well, I'm a veteran, and I served in a war. I did too. I'm one of the only female Marines that ever served with MACTAF 5th Marines in a combat element. I'm the only female Marine that did mixed martial arts training with 211 artillery. And yes, I pulled the howitzer cord. I got lucky. These guys, I earned my way. 2 bruised ribs and a broken wrist. I earned my way. And I understand what it means to carry the title. I understand what it means to be a veteran. It's an even bigger title in a sense to me. Because a veteran is very unique, and it's somebody that we need to honor and respect. And I just don't see our community always doing that, and that really, really hurts me. I'm part of the, we just started a new group. It's Veterans of Greater Los Angeles. I'm also part of the San Fernando Valley Veteran Employment Committee. June 9th, we're having a big employment benefit expo at the Van Nuys Armory from 10 to 2. Come on out. I'll be there. The congressman's coming to speak. It's a good time to kind of corner him and ask him some questions. I didn't say that. I will be there with a booth and answering questions and everything that I can. There's going to be like 30 vendors. All kinds of people are coming. It's going to be June 9th. It's a Thursday, I believe. June 9th. This Thursday. Oh, goodness, time flies. It's this Thursday from 10 to 2. It's the Van Nuys Armory. It's right off of Victory, I believe. Correct? There you go. I see. Can you tell I'm not from here?
Operation Gratitude.
Yes, Operation. Give me grid coordinates and I'm there. But yes, that's in the same location, and they're going to be there as well, supporting. Yes, sir.
I have a question for my friend Bob here.
Yes.
Is there any service that the VA provides for veterans to get to the hospital? He can never get there, and I can't always take it.
Yes. I have a broken down schedule of for the bus schedule and for the DA. They do vans, and yes, I'll get that for you.
But you have to call 3 days in
Yeah.
advance.
And if you want a travel voucher, good luck. No, I'm just kidding. No.
You gotta call 3 days in advance.
Yeah, you need to call in advance, but there are vans that do transportation from certain key areas, so you might have to get him to that key area so they can transport him back and forth, but there are facilities and nonprofit agencies that do assist with that.
There's also City Ride and Access.
Yep, Access does it. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, yes, sir.
What is the amount of the veterans' pension now?
The average amount, it
2,600.
it all depends. There's so many variables right now that it completely depends. It's individual basis. I can't give you an exact amount because the normal ratio that I deal with is either dependents or veterans who are coming in who've rated it, and it ends up being back pay. And so I end up seeing very large amounts coming through. But each veteran, it's case-by-case scenario. I wish I could give you a set answer, but I can't. Any other questions? Real good? Thank you. I appreciate your time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, thank you very much. And as a veteran, I will tell you, we want to be 110% behind what you're doing because I feel, and I get a lot of information that the veterans are being taken care of improperly. And I think as a group, we have a little voice in talking to the congressman. And I will contact you to get information on the various things that are going on. Okay. Well, we can be a thorn. That's 2 thorns.